Hello guys, and welcome back to the David Puttnam Media Centre. This time, we're here for WebCon 2025. Now, this is a concept that was introduced way back in September when I said that we were going to do this again. And this is it really. An annual concept that I want to try and really bring into the network every January 1st, if I can, and if I can facilitate it, to really introduce what's going to happen in the year. I think it's a really nice way to honour a particular division that really didn't do so well in Chapter 1, Beadle News, with that character and Willie Duncan and everything like that. This, in a way, is an evolved version of what that division was always meant to be, except it's going to be every New Year's Day in a real exciting fashion, unveiling what's going to be coming. And this is the very first example of that, and it's going to be a great time, and I hope you all really enjoy what I have to show you all today. But before that, on the note of honouring Beadle News, I think it's very necessary to talk about the divisions that didn't so much work in Chapter 1. Just one more final time, I promise. I won't go back to them again. I just think it's really necessary to go back one last time and really in the context of how I'm going to honour them moving forward. These divisions meant a lot to me. They came from at least somewhere, and even if they didn't debut or really get off the ground, if we're moving forward and we're moving forward in a way that's actually going to be sustainable for the network's future, it's very, very important to me that these reimagined ideas of what would have been divisions in a past life are really done with quality. Quality is the focus this year for me. It's very important. So to do that, I think it's about time we honour the past just once more. So first of all, Jigsaw Pictures. That was, again, supposed to be the home of the Benji Cooper saga. Didn't really work out that much, but we had a couple of documentaries out of it. And in a way, that's what the Making Of series has become. Whether covering the Variety Act, my debut album last September, to Lego Minecraft The Micro World Series in October, to Poems of Power and Passion, at Network Literature's debut in November. All of these projects now have Making Of documentaries. And I think it's a really nice way to really show the audience what goes into network life and making these projects from the ground up. So, yeah, that's a way that Jigsaw Pictures' content style has lived on and how it will continue to live on, at least this year, because every single project this year will have a Making Of documentary. That, I can promise you, is a trend that will continue. So talking more about honouring past divisions that haven't really worked out, Maester at the Movies, again, closed last year, along with Maester Reviews, that will close tonight. Yes, the final few videos of Maester Reviews and that division and that legacy of me reviewing films and theatre will finally come to a head tonight. And yes, that will end too. Happy Talk ended last year, and along with, of course, MSMR, all these very personal things that involved a lot of talking and coverage. Where does that continue? It's very obvious. It continues in the Beadle podcast. Now, during the Chapter 2 presentation, I made it pretty clear that that was going to continue, and I can now finally announce that the Beadle podcast is going to arrive once again on the 10th of January. I'm thrilled about it personally because I've been waiting a long time for it to come back, but all of those divisions will be honoured in talking points. Even just the general running of the show will honour those divisions that have now fallen. So it's going to be a very exciting time. The Beadle podcast is coming back this month and only in a matter of days. So stay tuned. It's going to be a fun time on the main channel. So then, moving on. My personal solo channel will finally open today. I was not going to brush over that. And if you think about it, Mr. Plays, Wargaming Warlords, Beadle Education, video essays in that kind of domain, Maester Reacts, which ended in last month. Yes, all of it's going to be honoured in a personal style that, yes, that will really live on in that solo channel that will aim to upload every single day in 2025. It's going to be a hell of a mean feat, but I'm going to really push to try and pull it off. And finally, at least for really divisions that will carry forth previous ideas, Mr. Boogie, The Champions, Beadle Sport, Frying Peter Pan, A Human Race of Many Colours, and Hot Ballers. All ideas for divisions that never really took off with a division series or something else entirely. Beadle TV will be the primary way that is honoured moving forward. It's very important to me that those are done right. Beadle TV, in a way, is an amateur Disney Plus that will get stronger and stronger by the year as it's introduced this calendar. So doing it right is paramount, because that will be an enormous part of the future of this network going forward. A lot of things, from documentaries to series to all kinds, will be featured on that division. So we will be talking about it today, and we do have stuff coming on the way in 2025. But before we move on again, Vertical Blue. That kind of sits outside of all the stuff we're going to be doing now, but for general projects and social media and those kind of endeavors, because there are projects that are exclusive to social media that are kind of under the network's umbrella now. Yeah, vertical-based content is definitely not out of the question, and that idea will most certainly live on in socials as time goes on. And finally, if we're talking about divisions, to be honest, I don't even see the point in talking about the Beetle Lane Foundation, because frankly, the new direction of this channel as a charity, yeah, that at least the main channel of which you're seeing this on, that is very much a reincarnation of the direction of that division, with a new direction to the entire organisation as a whole. So, that was a lot more breezy than it was back in September, but yes, we've reflected on the divisions once again. Everything I didn't mention there, yeah, there's a very specific reason as to why, and we'll be covering it all today. But first of all, some general news about 2025, because again, this is WebCon 2025, and it's pretty relevant to talk about. As unfortunate as it is, though not surprising, Beetle Lane Games will not debut in this calendar year, though I will say that development has started to begin. I have a rough idea of when it's going to start, and the chances of it debuting in this chapter is looking pretty slim, but it will not debut this year. Network Literature had its first project just 2 months ago in Poems of Power and Passion. I can also now say that it won't continue in 2025 as it stands. So there will be no more projects for Network Literature this year, but we'll see. My goal is to have another project from Network Literature by the end of the chapter. But the big news of which I want to really relay is, even though I've said I want to put an enormous focus on Beetle Lane Studios this chapter, I do kind of mean towards the back end of the chapter. There will be no feature or short films from Beetle Lane Studios this year. That is for one very specific reason, because they're being developed and I want to do them right. And 2026 hopefully should be an explosion in that regard, where film finally returns to the network in full force. So really what I want to do is I want to really experiment with bringing new mediums or pre-existing mediums into the network and really exploring the variety of what makes Beetle Lane so special. It's a home for everything. So I want to really celebrate the variety this year in a real colourful year. So I think it's about time I showcase what those divisions and their content will look like in the year to come. The first project of 2025 I'm going to talk about today won't even be on the main channel at all. Here it is. I'm going to be there, boots on the ground, by myself, no crew, covering it in a vlog style for this particular division, Beetle Lane TV. It will not be the first project from Beetle Lane TV in 2025, and the one that debuts the division. It will really introduce the project scaffold for my solo channel, which wasn't really conceived until very late in conceptualization for Beetle Lane 2025. But yes, it's a project scaffold that I think will work, me traveling, doing a bit of vlogging, but in a real professional style. Now, there's a reason, a bit of a trend why I'm avoiding the main channel right now. Obviously, I'm working on my own one with this, but I want to talk about another channel before we get to the main one. Now, yeah, I know, hold your horses. I thought there was only going to be 2 this year, you might ask. Well, no, that's not actually true, because we have a new channel coming on the way. This is BWN Kids. This was really not an easy decision to make at first, but once I gave it some thought, it really started to become quite clear to me, like really clear to me, that the animation work the network's doing, it's only going to ramp up by the year, and there needs to be a new home for it, else the main channel is going to become too diluted. And there's a real audience there that's not really been tapped into by the content that we're currently doing, and that's kids. What I would probably consider under 15s, under 12s, we're not really tapping into that market. Now, I think we should, and primarily through animation. So yes, there are plans later down the line to do more live action work, and specifically on this channel, but not right now. Right now, we need a new home for animation, or at least most of animation, and Build a Better World will now be transitioning over to be the primary focus of BWN Kids, a channel that will debut this year and will debut in May. So, Build a Better World is going to carry over there, but that's not to say if we think about doing something a little bit more adult, that Build a Better World won't make a project for the main channel once again. We're not saying it's going to move away entirely, but this channel will be launching in May with Build a Better World's first content of 2025. Build a Better World itself and animation work with the Blue Web Network have 3 projects on the way for 2025 and really push out the corner outside the main channel of projects to make. It will be a total of 4. What are the animation projects for 2025? Well, you're about to find out. First of all, a short film. Mickey's Movie Night. A short that has wrapped. We've made it. The voice acting is done for kids to launch BWN Kids as a channel. And it will basically be Mickey's lonely night in at the movies, lamenting on his time at Disney, and maybe introducing a little friend along the way. For our second short, Green Hill Zone. This is another short, but reintroducing the VFX angle that was introduced for the LEGO Minecraft The Micro World series and pushing it to a new level. This little short is, of course, as you probably guessed, based around Sonic the Hedgehog. This short film will focus on Sonic's efforts to save his island once again from the evil and conniving Dr. Robotnik. I can now unveil that Dr. Robotnik will be voiced by a newcomer to Blue Web Network, and that will be Benjamin Moore from Spark Sunderland. Benjamin, however, will be introduced in a project that comes out earlier than this, and we'll be talking about that later today. Now, we've talked about 2 shorts today in regards to Build a Better World, 2 shorts that really build on the episodic format of LEGO Minecraft, of short, small form content, which would be good for a new kids channel to kind of kick things off. But we've never done something in animation that really pushes the boat out. That since Minecraft really, where now VFX has become possible and the work that we're doing with it, we really need to do something that makes a statement and something that says, you know what, here, these scripts are getting good, the VFX is there, this is quality entertainment, and now for a new demographic. We needed a project that really showed the audience that we've come here to play. We had a look around, we really thought about it in all of LEGO's library to work with, and we finally found on one. And it will be the start of a new series. But it is not a series. It will be a series of specials. Here is the first entry. LEGO Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Now, if you're aware of the network's happenings in recent months, you'll know that a certain someone was brilliant in getting the behind-the-scenes material for LEGO Minecraft The Micro World series and had a very heavy hand in bringing that series to life in an animation sense. That man himself is Logan Minto, a new face from the city of Sunderland to Blue Web Network, and he'll be directing and helming this project, which will be our biggest animation project to date. 14 sets were released between 2001 and 2002, and we are finally going to bring this story to life in a way that honours the books, honours the movies, and honours the sets themselves. We can't wait to bring J.K. Rowling's world to life finally in an animated format and really prove, after all these years, that animation can be done properly under BWN's roof. Now, moving on from Build a Better World, I think it's time we discussed another division, which will be producing content for 2025. Moving on, my second album. Now, I think no one's ever going to forget the way that first album went down last year, but now I really want to switch things up. The first album was all about variety and really pushing the boat out when it came to genres. I think I want to have some fun this time. This time round, I'm going to be focusing on dance music, EDM, and I'm really going to be pushing to just have a fun time for the audience with a space theme. I'm really happy with the way it's shaping up. Music should really improve this time because I know lyrically I was really happy with the way the variety act turned out. Yes, I'm really looking forward to deliver the second album to you. Moving on with BWN music, it is finally happening. said it wasn't going to. I said literally in this presentation in September, it was never going to happen. But BLM Music has taken it under its wing, and this is a one-off radio special that is finally going to happen, and this will be the project that introduces our Dr. Robotnik, Benjamin Moore. It will debut on the 8th of August 2025, and I can't wait, just if it's just a one-off for one day in my life, to finally host a radio show honouring BLM Music's journey to date. Now, for our final project of BLM Music for 2025, or at least what I'm willing to share, Star of the Sea. Releasing on the 28th of November 2025, right before Christmas, a very, very personal EP of mine. It will be very singer-songwriter, a complete swing from what Out of Orbit is going to be, a complete tonal shift, but I really, really want to deliver on the emotion with this. I'm not playing around. Lyrics I'm very much in the writing process with it, and I feel very confident that it will be the best songs that I've written to date. Honestly, even probably superseding what that second album is going to be. I'm really happy with how it's looking, and it's a while away, but genuinely, I encourage you to keep your eyes out for it. Finally, we're going to talk about BLM TV. I've already mentioned it today. It's pretty obvious with it launching this year that it is a big, big part of the BLM 2025 culture. The first one we're going to be talking about is a rebooted format from Chapter 1, and a successful one at that. The Matthew May Show is returning. That show, needless to say, had an enormous identity crisis. I didn't know what to do with it. I was telling my story. I was going to Lanzarote one week, and I was having a cry the next. I don't know. I don't know what that show was supposed to be. I don't know. It was fun. It was fun. I got friends involved. It was a nice time, but it was very YouTube. It was very YouTube. And I liked the way that show panned out kind of in the end, turning 18. But yeah, there needs to be a reboot, and it needs to be done properly. And how do I do that? Well, I do it how... The show was always successful when it was a travel series. So that's what this is going to be. This is only the beginning. This is only season 1 of probably a minimum of 3. And I can't wait to share it with you all. It's been in development for a long time, and I promise you, I'm going to do it justice. Moving on. Being Prepared, a Scout story. An original documentary produced for BLM TV. This, if you remember rightly, was meant to originally be a division series in Chapter 1. That never ended up happening. This is another division that will be honoured, but in the present, right this second. Releasing on October 24th, be ready to meet an exciting new group of people and find out what it truly means to be a Scout. Now, we've went through a lot of different projects today, but no, not many release dates. I'm kind of keeping that under wraps for now, but they're all happening in 2025. But I kind of want to keep those surprises for the trailers themselves. However, I have one project to show that's very much happening soon, and I've kept it completely under wraps until this second, but it is another rebooted concept from Chapter 1. I now give you the final project of the day, the debut series of BLM TV, and what will kick off this year of very exciting moments. I give you the return of Game Central. The Chapter 1 concept that was never truly done justice with only 5 episodes, it's now finally coming back with an all-new cast, except for me, I'm returning, and it's about time it was done properly. I'm so excited to introduce new faces and also returning faces from the network you've seen recently in the Chapter 2 culture. This is a very exciting endeavour for me in what will be pretty much a fixed series of 3 seasons. This is only the beginning. I've been working so hard these last 12 to 18 months to create a culture of BWN that can sustain quality. A culture that will save the network itself. And honestly, I think I've only gone and done it. The culture is changing. I'm not going to be the only one here very soon. We've built something special. Something that is genuinely built into something good. Something for everybody. And now with an unprecedented level of projects, The stage is set. Quite literally in One Division's case. The future's clear, so it's time to get excited in the present. I give you all BWN 2025. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and enjoy the year. See ya.